Yeah. Oh, I thought you All right. Thank you. Yeah. Erica. 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 I try to give her a little minute so it's not caught off. All right, gentlemen. All right, we're gonna call this meeting to order. The Marion Common Council regular meeting, May 8th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And we'll go ahead and do the prayer led by Councilman Kane.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for being in the midst of us tonight. We ask you that you have your hand upon us tonight as we go through these agenda items. Continue blessing this city, bless this administration, bless each one here in this room tonight. We ask these things in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Kane, and pledge allegiance by Councilman Fordyce.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. And we're going to move on to roll call. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Kane,
Here.
Marshall, Fordyce,
Here.
Brunner,
Here.
Klein,
Here.
Devine, here, Witten,
Here.
Cowgill,
Here.
McKinley.
Here. Okay, we're going to move on to the neighborhood spotlight, and it is a pleasure today, kind of mixing things up a little bit. Usually we do businesses and such. But today we're going to be spotlighting Lorenzo Trevino and Isaiah Watkins. If gentlemen, you want to come up, you can bring your families all the way to the front. And we're going to utilize this brand new TV behind us. Throw some images up there. Come on up. You guys all the way up here. It's all good. Actually, can you guys go around the other way? My streaming will lock up and I'll get 1,500 messages about it. Come on. Yeah. I don't want to make you guys mad either, okay? Come on all the way up. So anyways, I wanted to recognize these two gentlemen. I had some notes, but I already memorized them. Come on up. So both of these gentlemen are, yeah, that's your dad. Both of these gentlemen are from Marion High School graduates. Even went to school with some of my kids. And if you don't know who they are, they're two of the baddest men in Marion, Indiana. Isaiah just recently won his first professional MMA fight up in Fort Wayne at the Coliseum. And at the same time, Lorenzo fought in the same on the same card as the co-main event and won his second professional MMA fight, both coming out of Marion, Indiana. So it's hard because my inner stadium announcer wants to come out and give him a formal introduction, but I don't want to blast this whole room. But anyways, these gentlemen have done nothing but represent the city of Marion very well. Anytime they do the introductions, you know, when you watch an MMA fight out of Marion, Indiana, I mean, these guys are all over the place. Lorenzo was in Cancun, I think March 23rd, was it? And he had his first professional fight in Cancun, Mexico. I think it was last minute.
Yeah.
Kind of
2 week notice.
2 week notice. I watched it, and he put a pound in and won his first fight. Both of these guys, on the 27th of April, like I said, won their fights, and they were both by referee stoppage due to strikes. So it wasn't even a decision. these guys single-handedly, wasn't yours in like 40 seconds?
41 seconds.
41 seconds in the first round. So these guys, and I'm not an MMA fighter, so I'm not going to claim to know anything about it, but I do know that there's a lot of work involved, a lot of training, probably for little to no pay sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really a passion. So I just really appreciate these gentlemen for coming tonight. I wanted to recognize them. They've been definitely pillars of the community, representing us very, very well. So you guys want to say anything or?
No, I mean, I just want to appreciate everybody for coming out. We put our heart and soul into this. We train every day. We both drive an hour and a half. Well, now he moved down there, but I still take that hour and a half drive just to get to practice. Hour and a half there, hour and a half back. It's a lot of dedication, a lot of lonely nights, a lot of lonely times, you know. The sport is definitely not for the weak. But we truly appreciate Marion coming behind us and really acknowledging us, because we put our heart and soul into this, and without you guys, there would be no motivation to keep going. But we appreciate each and every one of you guys, and we plan on to go high as far as we can make it, and put on for Marion. So appreciate it.
Also, I wanted to add, you've got a nickname. This is the Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
So you can just call him the Fresh Prince. Lorenzo, I was trying to find, do you have a nickname?
I got a nickname, but you know.
Can't say it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll leave it there. I was trying to find it, and I'm like, maybe he doesn't have one. But anyway, so yeah, there's Lorenzo, and that was actually from the 27th.
Yeah, that was from
my Isaiah getting ready. So anyways, appreciate you guys so much for coming and representing our city.
Thank
If you don't mind, we can get a picture. We've got a couple questions.
Introduce the
This
guy
is-
in your arms.
This is Lil Lorenzo Jr. Man, all I know is he'll probably be up next. Yeah.
Also, I know right now, like you say, the little or no pay. How does somebody get a hold of you? Because I'm sure you guys love sponsorships and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So basically, a lot of it goes through social media, or just a lot of personal stuff. Now he has a manager. I have a manager that kind of takes care of that stuff.
that was
But
my second question. Huh?
yeah,
You mean a cut man?
Yeah.
it
Social media, any type of things like that. Just introduce yourself, phone numbers, anything like that. So
Yeah.
It's
So
a rough way to make a living, boys.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
until you go pro, it definitely starts out as pretty much like you're just a hobbyist. Pretty much, it's like just keep going in there until you start. You know, after the fight, all my friends and family, I'm outside and I'm like, wait. I get paid now, so I'm going to the back. My wife didn't forget though. My wife, she remembered. She was back there on my spot line, like, yeah, we gonna collect that check now. So it's definitely until you start, until you go pro, you're definitely just a lot of sacrifice. And still after you go pro, it's even more sacrifice, because now it's you're putting food on the table for your family, and you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely just like he said earlier. It's not for the weak. It's definitely a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard times, a lot of lonely times, a lot of sacrifice, and everything that goes into it. So it's definitely. We're going to make it worth it.
Question, Nick. What sport did you guys play at Marion High School?
I used to wrestle, and I was 4 years varsity football. And
Thought I called your name a few
oh
times.
yeah.
Yeah, we both have a couple times.
All conference and wrestling, regional champ, sectional champ, semi-state play.
Good job. How about you, Isaiah?
I wrestled a little bit, and I boxed for the Boys and Girls Club here in Marion. I was okay wrestler, okay boxer, and then MMA happened, and then I just started putting hands on boys. So
Yeah.
I don't know what clicked.
Well, good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Well, and shout out to your wife and family, and they're probably sacrificing a little bit more. So,
Oh yeah,
Thank you, guys.
they don't get a lot, enough
Yeah.
credit to it. It takes definitely teamwork.
Yeah.
It definitely takes a team. And
Great. Well, thank you guys. We can grab a picture real quick. Now, you guys want to get in front here? Just get in front. Okay. We got to do like something like.
Both of you hit them at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. You're awesome. Thank you guys.
all right,
Appreciate you for coming. You can stick around, but you got kids, you got to get home.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys so
Appreciate
much.
you guys.
Appreciate it.
Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Good job. Good luck.
All right. Well, that was a delight. Thank you, gentlemen. we're going to move on to the approval of minutes from the regular meeting from April 16th, 2024. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Councilman Kane, second by Vice President Calgill. Any discussion? All right, no discussion. Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Runner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. Okay, the minutes have been approved, and moving on to the consideration ratification of pre-approved claims. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kane, second by Councilman Klein. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Runner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. And consideration of claims. I'll also entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Vice President Calgill, a second by Councilman Kane. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Runner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. And moving on to committee reports. Anyone have any committee reports? Councilman, she beat me. Okay. Councilwoman Devine, go ahead. It's okay. Councilwoman Devine, go ahead.
Okay, so the utility board met last week for one of their regular meetings, and they discussed quite a few topics. One of which is the change in the solid waste charges that will be coming before us, I believe, at the next meeting. And they've had quite a bit of conversation, and the report you'll get will have all of the background for the last 5 years, I believe it is, since the solid waste was taken, left Republic and came back to the city through city utilities, where the money is not quite balanced, where you can see that they've been operating at a deficit and having to have the other utilities help cover to keep it in the black. And so this rate increase will be for that purpose, to help balance those amounts out. And so I know they'll have a presentation, and I'll let them do all that next meeting, but just know that's coming up for discussion. They also gave just a little bit of an update on some of the major projects, the SRF fund projects. It's pre-construction meetings are underway, so those should start here fairly quickly. The meter project is just beginning, where they're replacing out all the meters to the electronic ones. And then let me see what else they had going on. They had a couple of minor fundraising requests and things like that were going on. A couple of policy updates they're working on within their policy manual regarding paying for the reimbursement of training should someone get trained and then leave within a specific amount of time. They were working on policies to help with that, so that some of the more expensive trainings, like a CDL training, there's $3,000 or $4,000 worth of time into that, and then they get their CDL and then they leave, and how to protect the city from that, with obviously the look towards trying to keep them once they're trained versus, any type of penalty, but to make sure they're not coming just for the training and then leaving, which is, to me, is fair. So then the Board of Works met this week, and they looked at the transfer of 5 city-owned properties, which are all part of the Riverfront Downtown District area, to get those to the Redevelopment Commission so that they can start economic development in those areas. They also had, the police chief had 2 of his areas, the drone area, and then they're looking at a law enforcement phlebotomist, working on the SOPs to put into their policy book around those, to make sure that they have some best practices and safeguarding and all the policies fit and how they do the trainings and who's able to participate in those programs. And so those all were met with very good questions from the Board of Works, and I think they're well thought out policies, and should commend the chief for those and his excellent officers who are working on all those items to make the department better. And that's what's happened in those two areas.
Great, thank you, Councilwoman Devine. Councilman Klein?
Yeah, I don't have any heads up about rate increases. Aviation Board met May 2nd, and it was a pretty routine meeting. They included updates on plans for new precision approach lighting, the stuff you see when there's a plane coming in, guide them in. Installation of fuel tanks and classroom constructions. The new classes out there start in June, and they have a full load for their classes. They included some grant proposals. Mississinewa students got a tour of the airport and some close and personal looks at airplanes and equipment and the ice cream shop out there. And thank you.
Just for clarification, the ice cream shop open to the public?
Yep.
Okay, so everyone knows there's an ice cream shop at the airport open to the public. I think just regular day hours or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's open, it's there, it's real.
Great. Okay, thank you. Any other committee reports? Okay, no more committee reports. We're going to move on to unfinished business and appropriation ordinance 9-2024, second reading and public hearing.
An ordinance of the City of Marion appropriating certain funds for the City of Marion, Indiana, and providing thereof from ARPA for public safety, the amount of $1,716,912. Speaking Controller Dana Galt.
Welcome, Dana. I mean, Mayor.
Not near as pretty as you usually are.
Yeah.
What can I say? Well, good evening, and I'm very excited to be at another great council meeting with all of you. This is try not to go too far in the weeds. There is a state law is going to be changed as of July 1st that you only have to advertise online for these kind of things. And last time we had a advertising error where you have to get it in 2 local newspapers. So this is essentially a redo of the public hearing for the ARPA appropriation to the for public safety. It's just due to a posting error in advertising for 2 newspapers, and one of our local newspapers only post once I think it's like once a month, once every 2 weeks or something like that. So so this is just a redo what was passed last time. So I ask you to please consider again passing suspending the rules and passing the funds to be able to go to our public safety for our fire truck and our police department to get the equipment that they need.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. Any other questions right now? All right, I would entertain a motion.
Public hearing, sir.
Oh, public hearing, yes. So we did this one last time and we had the public hearing, so we'll do it again. So we're going to open up for public hearing. Again, this is for the same public hearing we had last meeting for the fire department's fire truck and all the other equipment and vehicles for the police department. So more of a technicality that we have to do this again. So podium's open if anyone would like to speak again. Okay, I see no one going to the podium. We'll close the public hearing. Now I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we suspend the rules on appropriation ordinance number 9/2024.
A motion to suspend the rules by Councilman Kane and a second by Councilman Klein. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordyce,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Aye. Rules have been suspended. I entertain another motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pass appropriation ordinance number 9 2024.
Second.
Motion to pass appropriation ordinance 9-2024 by Councilman Kane and a second by Councilman Brunner. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordyce,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. Okay, appropriation ordinance 9-2024 has passed. Again. And moving on to appropriation ordinance 10-2024, second reading and public hearing.
An ordinance of the City of Marion appropriating certain funds for the City of Marion, Indiana, and providing thereof from the general fund the amount of $18,946.39 for fire and safety updates to City Hall. Speaking Mayor Ronald Morrell Jr. and Building and Ground Maintenance Manager Dave Slusher.
I'm gonna let Dave carry the load on this one, but this is essentially just updating our fire safety equipment in the building that is has failed the inspection, and it's time for us to get it updated. So if you have any other questions, Dave has more detailed answers for it.
Afternoon, everybody. Any questions?
Dave, what did the city fail? What was the issue?
The most ones was, see our little lights and our horns there. The horns are working, but the lights are not. And we had a lot of little smoke detectors that are out. The last time we had it, we talked about the list, everything that was on here. That is what they're doing for everything that's on here. So it's a good deal from Elwood here to get this all done. So there was other things. There was some wiring. We've got the dated. If you look at the old pole handles that are there, they're really out of date, and those also are on the list to get all updated too. So it's 1980s.
Microphone.
That too. What's the time frame for all this? You may have told us, but just since we're all here again.
It'll take about a week.
Once it's approved, are you saying it'll take a week for them to start installing it, or a week from start to finish? When do we plan on getting it
A week
implemented?
to start to finish. Once I know that I have the money, then they'll get things ordered. A lot of it's already on hand that they have, and then it's just scheduling. There'll probably be a couple days where they may have to work after hours, so we're not interrupting, business with sounds and stuff like that. But we're looking at 5 working days, business days.
Great, thank you. No other questions? All right, I would entertain a motion. Correction, jeez. I didn't have my highlighter today. Usually I highlight it, so I apologize. We're gonna move on to the public hearing. And if you would like to come up and speak, make your way at this time. Okay, I don't see anyone moving towards the podium, so we'll close the public hearing. Now I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we suspend the rules on appropriation ordinance number 10, 2024.
I'll second.
We have a motion to suspend the rules by Councilman Kane and a second by Councilman Witten. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordyce,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein, Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes, rules have been suspended. I would also entertain another motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pass appropriation ordinance number 10, 2024.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kane, second by Councilman Brunner. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. Appropriation ordinance 10-2024 has passed. Moving on to appropriation ordinance 11-2024, reading and public hearing.
An ordinance of the city of Marion appropriating certain funds for the city of Marion, Indiana, and providing thereof. From the general fund, the amount of $28,865 for City Hall air conditioning. Speaking Mayor Ronald Morrell Jr. and Building and Ground Maintenance Manager David Slusher.
As you can see, it's not hot in here today. So we did actually go ahead and get this fixed after our last council meeting when we had that discussion. So I'm hoping you guys don't change your mind on me and not pass this tonight. but our employees, we were working in terrible situations. People were going home sick, sweating. It was really bad. And for us to go ahead and get that fixed was absolute emergency for the operations of City Hall. And Mr. Slusher can answer any more of the detailed questions about what they actually did.
So they put a new coil in out here, updated the Freon, it was really low because obviously it was leaking. So got all that done, did some rewiring out there, just kind of updated a couple things out there. Then, once they got that going, we was able just to get the building cool and everything. So far, doing good.
I have a question. What's the temperature set in here right now? Because it's a little hot. I was questioning if it was working yet.
70, 72.
Okay.
We have
Probably just me.
a lot of it kind of because we have this upper space here. Yeah. We need a little bit more flow.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Could be the stage lights too. So
yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. No other questions. We're going to open it up to public hearing. Thank you. Public hearing is open. If you have anything you'd like to say, make your way to the podium. I don't see anyone moving, so we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. And I would entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I like to suspend the rules on appropriation ordinance 11-2024.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rules by Vice President Cowgill, second by Councilman Kane. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. Rules have been
President.
suspended. Entertain another motion.
Mr. President, I'd like to that we pass appropriation ordinance number 11-2024.
Second.
Motion to pass appropriation ordinance 11-2024 by Vice President Cowgill, second by Councilman Kane. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. Appropriation ordinance 11-2024 has passed.
Thank you.
Moving on to general ordinance 8-2024, second reading and public hearing.
An ordinance amending original ordinance 1982, Schedule 4, time limit parking zones. Speaking Head of Engineering and Planning, Mike Kraft.
Good evening. So what you have before you is some areas in the downtown area that have some needed areas where there was a request for 2-hour parking and some 30-minute parking. Everything is in place pending your satisfactory with this ordinance. And if you have any questions about where the areas are, I tried to detail them as good as I could, but if you do, I'll be glad to help you and give you any reason why the requested information or the requested zones were asked for. And if you could suspend the rules, that'd be great.
Mr. Graff, I have a question. I saw the chief here earlier. Do you know where we're at on enforcement, parking enforcement? Do we have anybody hired?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Councilman. That's a great question. We are having that discussion in ongoing meetings about it. I hope to have some information for you probably by your next 1 or 2 sessions with the mayor, as well as the next council meeting. But we are having those active discussions now to do the citizens better in the enforcement of those ordinances.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So as a follow-up comment on that, parking on Washington Street, in front of Ashley's Ice Cream, in front of Obie's, and then also across the street. Those signs I notice are up now, Mr. Graff. So I appreciate that for those clients and business owners that live in those areas. I'm afraid though, without parking enforcement, we're still going to have a problem there. So I think having somebody to monitor that those parking problems, will still have issues with parking there because there's a lot of people that seems to be thumbing their nose at those signs and not paying any attention. I was concerned about the signs. They're not enforceable on Sundays, and anybody can park there for unlimited time on Sunday, which will then carry over into Monday morning. So that was concerning to me, but we'll have to monitor that. So I think enforcement will help in that area. But I want to leave it open that we may come back and revisit this if we have ongoing problems.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, it's, without the signage placed and you're passing the ordinance, even if just the signs are there, it's not enforceable. So you have to make it an enforceable action before the police or anybody that's working that type of detail has the ability to give anyone a ticket.
Thank you, Mr. Graff.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Clarification. So we're looking at, especially there in Washington and the areas around the square, one side's gonna have 30-minute parking and the other side's gonna have 2-hour essentially.
So there are 2-hour predominantly. There's a 30-minute, which is to be used as a loading zone for Ashley's, and then one at Century 21, and then one over by the CSA. That's
Okay.
for someone to be dropped off or deliveries to be made. So the 2 hours are meant to try to move people in a longer, so you get a little bit longer time to do your business rather than the 30-minute zone.
Well, and that's what I wondered, because I was a little concerned about having a lot of 30 minutes around some of those businesses, because people will want to, obviously the restaurants and, you know, places they want to hang out for a little bit. Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, no other questions. We're going to go and open it up for public hearing. If you would like to speak on this general ordinance, make your way to the podium. You can just say your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
I'm Karen Creech and I live in Ironwood Drive. I don't have a problem with the time thing. I go a lot of places, got time places around squares and stuff. But if we're going to put in that riverfront development, if you're going to keep the 2-hour limit and stuff, and you really do develop the riverfront and put a lot of shops and stuff underneath there like you talked about, you're going to have some type of off-street parking, because you're not going to have a lot of people going to move their car every 2 hours if you have a festival or something going on downtown. I know most of that stuff goes around on the weekends, but if you have shops open during the weekday, businesses can't rely on just traffic on during a festival. So we go to Noblesville a lot and go to the downtown area, and they just recently built a big parking garage and stuff. And I know we don't have a lot of the square footage they have as far as land mass, but you might want to think about having that now. But if you do grow the downtown area like you're proposing, you're going to have some other kind of development for parking, because you won't get people return if they think they're going to get a parking ticket. And if they get involved in something, they're going to lose track of time. So it's easy to do, especially if there's a lot of activity going on or a lot of specialty shops. And if any of them are a shopper like me, you spend a lot of time looking at everything and then going back. So you just might want to think about maybe either having something different on busier times, or perhaps developing a permanent parking area. Noblesville put in a thing where you can put a QR code and you can scan it, and then you get a pass, like you prepay for a pass, and then you can go in the parking garage. You don't have to pay every time you get a ticket. You just scan that QR code. So, I mean, there's a lot of things in the future you can do, but you might want to think about that, especially if you're really going to develop the riverfront. That's just an idea.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Welcome. If you could say your name and address.
Deborah King, 4622 South Carey Street, but I'm also the Center Township trustee, and my office is right there on Washington Street. I want to thank the city for considering the request to do this 2-hour parking. I'm affected greatly, specifically on Mondays, because Obie's and Ashley's are closed, and so everyone in the apartment building just stay parked there. And I have many, many clients that come in that they have breathing problems, they're in a wheelchair, they're in walkers, and they have to walk a long ways, 2 or 3 blocks, sometimes in the cold, in the rain, to be able to get into our building. So I appreciate the consideration putting the signs up. I want to thank Mr. Graff for working on that, for the mayor for considering that. And I hope that we can find a way to enforce it now, so that when we open the office, we can have the traffic flow that we need. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else for the public hearing? Seeing nobody else, we're going to close the public hearing, and I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we suspend the rules on General Ordinance number 8, 2024.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rules by Councilman Kane, a second by Councilman Witten. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordyce,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. Rules are suspended. I'll take another motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pass General Ordinance number 8, 2024.
Second.
We've got a motion by Councilman Kane, a second by Councilman Klein. Any discussion? All right, no discussion. Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordyce,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. General Ordinance 8-2024 has passed. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Moving on to new business, appropriation ordinance 12-2024, first reading.
An ordinance of the City of Marion appropriating certain funds for the City of Marion, Indiana, and providing thereof, from general fund to miscellaneous contractual services, the amount of $126,384.37 for Capital One lease. Speaking, City Controller Dana Gold.
Good
Welcome.
evening. Welcome. Thank you. Good
Microphone.
evening, Council President and the
You need the mic.
Council. Good evening, Council President and the Council. I'm Dana Gold, the City Controller, and so I'm going to talk about this appropriation. On March 3rd, 2011, the City of Marion signed a contract with Johnson Controls for $1,390,000 and 566. 1,390,390. Okay. At an interest rate of 4.15%, this loan is held by Capital One, and we have 3 payments remaining for March 2nd, 2024, March 2nd, 2025, and March 2nd, 2026. We've already paid 2024. Due to previous oversight on the management agreement with Johnson Controls, that has expired. So we're still responsible to make these payments. And so we're asking to make the $126,000 payment for the Capital One lease.
Thank you. Just some clarification. You said the 2024 wasn't paid. Did you mean 2023? Because I think you're asking for 2024. Is this?
2023.
Okay.
Yes.
So 2023 was paid, but because the 2024 amount was not added to this year's budget, that's
Right.
why you're now coming to us. Correct?
Right.
Just one clarification for
Yes.
the audience and.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions, council members? Councilman Fordyce?
Dean, I just have one small question. This was due on the 2nd of March, correct?
Yes.
Are they going to charge us any interest for the 60 days that is past due?
No. Let me see.
I mean, it's a credit card company.
Sure. No.
There's no late fees or
No.
interest? They're just giving us a grace period on that.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of them. Appreciate that. Thank you. That's the only
For what I
question
know, there's no interest. So
Okay.
from my records.
Thank you.
I have a question or an addition. So $126,384.37. If we were to pay it this year, which should have already been budgeted, we have 2 more years to pay on this, correct?
Yes.
So I'm looking at the interest component here. And so essentially this year's payment, $14,513.88 of that amount you're requesting is going towards interest. Can't get around that.
Right.
But the next 2 years, it's just around $14,000 to $15,000 in interest combined that we would pay if we were to go 2 more years. Just a question, if we were just to pay this off, would we then avoid paying that extra $14,000 in interest over the next 2 years?
Yes. So what I would like to do is I want us to, obviously we have an obligation to go ahead and make the payment for this year, the $126,000, but I would like to come back at the next council meeting with the consideration to pay this debt off and save the city that roughly about $15,000. That's my hopes to ask for, but we have to move forward and pay the payment for this year.
All right, thank you for that. We'll address that at the next meeting then. Any other questions? Okay, no other questions. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pass appropriation ordinance number 12, 2024 to second reading and public hearing.
I have a motion by Councilman Kane and a second by Vice President Calgill. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordyce,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes, appropriation ordinance 12/2024 first reading has passed and moved to second reading, public hearing. Thank you, Controller Dana Galt. Appreciate it. Moving on to general ordinance 9-2024 first reading.
An ordinance of the City of Marion fixing the maximum salary of appointed officers and employees, adding a civilian assistant to the Criminal Investigation Division for Marion Police Department. Speaking, Police Chief David Gilbert.
Welcome, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, members of the council, Mr. President, Mayor. Appreciate it. We're here to discuss. I hope did you receive the packet that we put? Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory. I know it's warm in here. I'll try to summarize. Matt Andre is a veteran officer. He was about the last officer I hired when I was chief before. In the interim, he's made me look really smart. He's become a canine officer, SWAT operator, is well respected by veteran officers and the rookie officers who are coming on. We've trained him very well, and he's returned, given us a return on that investment. Matt injured himself, oddly enough, on a fire response, trying to get into a house where he thought people might have been there. Injured his wrist, and we've gotten the bad news that he's not going to be able to perform the functions of a police officer anymore. So what we wanted to do, in summary, is not let his skill sets get away, and we wanted to create a position where he could serve. So he's been on light duty necessarily since he injured himself some time ago, while we're navigating the process of can he come back or can he not. We've gotten the bad news that he can't, but in the meantime, what he's been doing is working in detectives, doing everything but the law enforcement function. He's been handling case follow-ups. He's still helping with canine training. Was doing that last night, probably even today. Just doing everything that needs to be done that doesn't have to do with use of force and arresting people while we navigate this process. And it's been very effective. What he's allowed us to do is everything that he's doing was probably either not getting done because we're shorthanded, or it was being done by a policeman at the expense of some other thing that might need to be done, typically on the street. So, for example, we have a person who walks in at the front desk and asks for a report to be filed about their garage window was broken. They just need a report for insurance. Well, that's a service we need to provide. We have the district car drive in, come into the station, take that report, and then go back out. We don't have the luxury of having a desk sergeant or anything like that, if you've seen that on TV. What we've been able to do with Matt is to have him handle those things when he's working, and that officer can stay out on the road and handle what a policeman's going to do out there. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. It's a good investment for us. It's more cost effective than a police officer, and it frees up officer man hours, and we don't lose the extensive expertise that Matt brings to the table. I'm going to ask Matt, if you don't mind, to come forward and just put his 2 cents in, hopefully tell you how he wants to serve and do this thing. So Matt, if you want to come up.
Welcome.
Hello, thank you, Chief. So I approached the chief about this position because I've been working at the Marion Police Department for almost 9 years, and it's something that I obviously really enjoy and I still want to be a part of. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be a part of it as a police officer, but anyway, I'm still able to help the Marion Police Department and the citizens of Marion. I want to do that. So I approached him with this, along with Captain Ziegler and some of the other people at the Marion Police Department. And I believe that through talking with them and everything that I have been doing for the past several months, and I believe the chief agrees because we're here now, that it is a value. I've probably taken care of over 100 cases, whether that's suspending cases because they can't be followed up with the investigation, whether it's sending to the prosecutor's office or further in the investigation by getting search warrants and things of that nature. I've also helped out with the cases, whether it's stuff that I can't do over the phone or anything like that. I will email the officer, say, hey, this is what needs to be taken care of with these follow-ups so we can get the citizens of Marion the support and the service that they are needed. I've also been helping with the canine unit for 5 years now. I was supposed to take over the unit as a trainer, Lieutenant Ridgway now. Is going to be retiring within the next few years, and that is a service to the Marion Police Department. When we get new canine handlers, that saves the Marion Police Department and the citizens of Marion almost $10,000 per canine officer that is trained. So I was going to take over that. So that would be a part of one of my duties as well. We're doing that right now. We're training one officer from the Marion Police Department and one officer or deputy from the Sheriff's Department right now, and I've stepped away to come here. That's kind of a brief synopsis. If you have any questions, I'll be willing to answer them.
I think this is brilliant.
commend both of you guys on this situation, that not to lose, like Chief Gilbert said, all the thousands of dollars that your knowledge and invested in you. I'd have given anything if the fire department, when I was hurt in the line of duty, I could have done something like that. So that's just, I mean, this to me is a no-brainer.
Matt's too humble to tell you. I'll end with this. I'll be glad to answer any questions. Matt's a good man. I worked with his brother many years ago, who's passed away, and we worked on the Gene team together. And he comes from a good family. He's a good man. He's been a heck of a policeman. Almost said a bad word there. He's a heck of a policeman, and we just don't want to lose him. We can't have him on the street anymore, but we can make use, and he wants to do it. It serves a purpose. It's a win for us from the business perspective. It's a win for him because he still gets to contribute, and it's a win for me as the chief to know we got somebody we can rely on handling things that need to be done. Quite honestly, some of those things are slipping through the cracks. So it's a win-win-win. So I'd ask you to consider formalizing this. Basically, what it amounts to is I'll rely on council to tell you what it's called or how to do it, but we just need to. The position's been created by the Board of Works. We went to the Board of Works. They created the position, which is in their bailiwick. So the position has been created as the financial body. We're just asking you to formalize spending the money on this position as opposed to what it had been being spent on. And quite honestly, we're shorthanded in a number of positions, so there's a windfall there in terms of the money spent on salary. But even if we were fully staffed, except for Matt, just him not being a policeman anymore would pay, in effect, for the position that we're creating here, at least through the end of the year, with savings even then. In other words, we're going to pay him less for this job than we would have as a police officer. So there's a cost to the city, but it's not an excess, or we're not asking for more money. We're asking to use money that's already there to fund this valuable position. So that's my best explanation. I'll answer any questions you have.
Has he been okay through PERF for Class 1 yet?
That's in process in the final stages. In fact, I just read an email from Matt. PERF has said PERF is reviewing that's the level of disability, which is a full disability. PERF is reviewing the status of that, and I suspect they're going to approve it. The doctors were very clear. I think they're going to approve it pretty. I don't think there'll be a debate about it. But if there is, then we'll do what they ask us to do. But I think it's a matter of time. So for the time being, he's being paid as a police officer now. When that comes to an end, and I believe it will, we'll just smoothly transition right into the new position. So.
Any other questions? Councilman Fordyce.
Thanks, Chief. The only questions that I have is so he's going to be fully retired on disability, correct?
Yes.
And assume this position as a civilian.
Disability. Yes.
So if we amend this salary ordinance, my only concern is that the health benefits, the PERF will be included in the flex included in your amendment that you have requested. And if he's going to be fully disabled as a police officer, he won't need those benefits to serve in that position. Is my only technicality that I had a question about on that. And that we're gonna use the funds from him being a police officer to compensate for the civilian position, correct?
Yeah, the money's in the pool that is the general fund. Mm-hmm. How it's moved and used, but yeah, that's the essence of it.
Sure.
My intention is that Matt not losing the deal, because quite honestly, he's going to receive benefits. This is a duty-related injury, so he's going to receive full benefits.
That was my question.
Yeah, so it's actually a better deal for the city. I hate to talk about a human being like this, but it's better in a sense that he was injured on duty. That sounds horrible, but in a financial way, it's a good deal.
Sure.
I guess that's what I'd say to you. I hope you agree with that.
Yeah, I definitely 100% agree with the analogy on it and everything. I was just considering on the ordinance of amending the salary ordinance for him. Some stuff won't be included, and I don't know if we have to do that interdepartmental ways as far as because you've got flex in there.
I'm
And-
gonna leave that to the controller and the council.
Sure.
That might be a little bit above.
That was the only other questions that I had. If we can just hash that out.
I'm sure we can work it
When-
out. I
when
feel
we-
comfortable we can do it.
When he takes that position and retires and then goes into that position.
Yeah.
Just some of the details.
I think those are things that can be worked out pretty easily.
Sure.
I feel confident we can do that. And,
Okay.
just to ease, any concern, this model has been used before. Mark Kilgore, although he wasn't injured on duty, he retired conventionally. And in fact, I call this, in-house, I call it the Kilgore model. Mark Kilgore's working as our evidence tech. The two differences are he didn't retire on an injury. He retired conventionally, and his job is very specific to evidence-based things. I think I mentioned in the folder that Matt's going to be our utility player. He's going to handle a whole lot of things, but really the structure of what we're trying to do here has already been done. We didn't invent this, so it's been working with Mark Kilgore for about 2 years now, and that was a big part of my decision to go, have we done this before, and are there any problems laying in the weeds? And I don't think there
Sure.
are.
Yeah, I just want to make sure because you're going to take him from a full-duty police officer.
Yeah.
And fill this position with a full-duty police officer, correct? And use that.
Well, we're not going to lose the position, but I hope I don't hear you say that. The full-time police position is going to stay in existence. It's just not going to be filled. My intention though is my goal is I've said this before, my goal by the end of the year is that we'll be fully staffed, including Matt's positions. So at some point we'll be spending more money to fund him if we're fully staffed, but that won't be realized until we are.
Okay.
So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think one of the things that when we look at these ordinances, we're thinking specific people, but I think we need to take that out of the thought process because the ordinance itself is creating the position as if it were an unfilled position.
Exactly.
And therefore, all the language has to include all the benefits and everything because for whatever reason, if this did not come to effect, if we were going to bring somebody else in to do this position, they may need to have all those benefits attached to the job. And so in this instance, because we're talking about a specific person that doesn't necessarily need things, I think cloudy's the issue. Cloudy's is not the word, but you know
I just think
what
it makes a better deal.
So,
If we're talking finances and dollars and cents, which is your responsibility, having Matt do it is a better deal. If we had a conventional civilian come in, first of all, they wouldn't be as capable and we might pay a little more, but if Matt does what I know he's going to do, it will prove itself as something worthy of the expense. I have no doubt about that.
right, and I'm not trying to take away from that because that will then give you kudos for saving money. But procedurally, it has to be done this way as if it wasn't a specific person in mind because we have to think future. We have to think, what's this going to be 10 years from now? And then that way, that's creating that position specifically for you for.
And that's how we attacked it with the Board of Works. It's the position. We just happen to have the person we want to have there, but you're exactly right. It's the position that matters.
It'll basically just be a lateral movement. Once you get the date from perp, the only reason I'm saying this because I experienced it. Once you get the date from perp, he'll fall off the city's insurance, so to speak, and all the benefits with the city, go into the class 1. And then when you fill that position, whoever that new police officer would be, he'll just pick up from the date of hire on. So, I mean, Dana, is that not, okay.
Good conversation. Any other questions? Okay, no other questions. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pass General Ordinance Number 9, 2024 to second reading and public hearing.
We have a motion by Councilman Kane, a second by Councilman Klein. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordyce.
Aye.
Brunner.
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. General Ordinance 9-2024 is passed. It'll move to second reading and public hearing. And last on the agenda, Resolution 5-2024.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of Marion, Indiana, approving the tax abatement for Sulai Hospitality, Inc. Speaking, Council President Nick McKinley.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is a resolution to approve the tax abatement for Sulai Hospitality for the year of 2023. So retroactively, basically the resolution, council members didn't receive a copy of it, but it basically states that Sulai Hospitality Inc. timely submitted its annual CF1 form for the year 2023. It was not approved last year, and we are looking to retroactively approve it for the year 2023. And Sulai Hospitality is actually doing business as the Holiday Inn Express in Marion. And yeah, so I'd like to go ahead and welcome you. I didn't know if you're going to make it or not, but you're welcome to come up here, whoever wants to speak, and share anything you'd like to share, or we can just ask your questions. Okay, we're here to answer questions. So I'll give a little, so I've worked a lot on this. I was full transparency contacted by their accountant, Pam. She has been wonderful, Pam Morton, and contacted me probably 3-4 weeks ago, I believe, and stated that they just realized they weren't approved because the taxes were coming due, and realized the abatement form did not make it over to the county auditor's office. So she contacted me, trying to figure out what happened. And so we did some research, thanks to Councilman Kane and the clerk's office. I pulled a lot of data from last year, found that it wasn't approved, and the contact information on the form, Councilman Kane had tried contacting via phone and email several times, didn't hear back. So when it was in committee last year, it just didn't get approved because they didn't have questions answered, couldn't get a hold of you. Yeah. I've since talked to their CPA, Pam, and clarified that she is allowed to put her contact information on those forms moving forward. So if there are questions, she is the one that will be able to answer that. I will read an email real quick. I asked her to kind of summarize her and I's conversation. She said, regarding the completion of Form CF1 in the column for the as estimated on SB1, we put was submitted on the original SB1 filed. Then in the column for the actual, we indicated the number of current employees and salaries, and the number of employees retained and salaries the same. The number of additional employees shown is the increase from the number on the original SB1 and total salaries. The only number that could be changed is the salaries for the number of additional employees, meaning what she could have changed. If you would only want the increased amount over the estimated number on the SB1. If so, the number for the 2024 paid 2025 should be $278,964, which that'll get addressed at their next request. So to boil it all down, essentially just some confusion. She even admitted, there's no training on how to fill out these CF1 forms. I'm reading through it. I met with our attorney, Marty Harker, discussed it. And so there was just some confusion. So essentially what she is saying is, and I think this was the question you guys might have had when we talked, that why was there only an 8 in the additional employees category under the SB1 side? Well, the intention was to show that there were 8 additional employees added on top of what they had already estimated when they originally filed for this tax abatement. So this tax abatement, I believe, is in year 6. I can't remember off the top of my head. And so previous years we have approved it. It is a pretty hefty tax abatement because we appreciate your investment in Marion. And so essentially, speaking to the auditor's office, they said that all they need is a resolution from the city council to retroactively approve last year's tax abatement, and then they can apply that before they have to pay those taxes this year. And then, of course, moving forward, they're going to submit the form and try to submit it differently, so it's maybe what's understood better. So I tried the best I can to explain it. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Was there a commitment or a length of term for this tax abatement?
Yes, it was a 10-year. 10 years. And I apologize, I have it in my email, and it is detailed out in the original ordinance or the original approval of that tax abatement. So it's a 10-year, I believe we're on
Yeah, I
year.
have copies.
He has a copy, yes. I just have it on my computer. And if you would like to see, but it is a 10-year tax abatement for the Holiday Inn Express up on Western Avenue. Have any other questions? Okay, no other questions. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pass resolution number 5, 2024.
I have a motion to pass resolution 5-2024 by Councilman Kane and a second by Councilman Klein. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordyce,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes. Resolution 5-2024 has passed. We're going to go ahead and get all that sent over to the auditor's office as soon as we can. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow. We'll work with the clerk's office and get that retroactively approved. And again, Pam did say she'll update the contact info. That way, if we have any more future questions, we'll be able to contact you a little easier. So thank you guys so much, honestly, for your investment in Marion. Every time I drive by there, it looks beautiful. You guys do a fantastic job maintaining that facility, and we really do appreciate you coming to Marion and choosing Marion.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight, too.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, there's nothing else on the agenda. I just wanted to add a few more things, two things. Just kind of announcement, utilizing this new beautiful TV here, 98-inch TV, graphic custom designed by Council President McKinley here, with a picture of Matter Park behind it. That is actually our park. But I'm going to utilize this. I just wanted to make an announcement that I went to a ribbon tying, which is the first ribbon tying ceremony I've ever been to. Usually it's ribbon cutting, but basically Radiant Health and Indiana Health Centers have merged, or not merged, they are partnering together. And so both of those ladies are from their respective entities. So essentially, Radiant Health is now going to have some primary care access for some of their clients partnering with Indiana Health Center. So it's the bill, I can't remember the address, like the 3000 block South Washington, somewhere in that area. It used to be a grocery store back in the day. But anyways, that's where it's at. I did a tour of it. It's phenomenal. So it's going to really provide expanded services for the Radiant Health clients by coupling those services with Indiana Health Center. So it's just really exciting. You know, we talk about mental health, addiction, and all that in Marion, and this is an exciting partnership. So I had the honor to go there and do a ribbon tying ceremony. So that was interesting. Other than that, the last thing I wanted to give an update on for full public transparency, we are streaming still on my iPad, but we have accepted an estimate for some professional equipment to be installed by CSB, and they are working on getting us on their timeline. It's already been appropriated. The money's already been approved for it. Essentially, it's just them getting us on their calendar. And what's going to basically happen is there's going to be a camera in the back. There's already one there that used to be used for the streaming on cable TV. That's going to be replaced by an up-to-date high-definition camera that will face the council. And then there'll be another camera above me facing down towards the audience and the guest speakers. So we'll have two, we'll call it solid state or static cameras. And when people are streaming online, they'll be able to see split screens. They can see both at the same time. Also, if we choose to, which we will utilize, one of those split screens could be used for presenting. So if we have photos or we have a PowerPoint or a video, people online can not only watch the council meeting, but they can see exactly what we're talking about. My hope is to be able to also show the agenda for people that are watching online so they can follow through or follow along and just make that at-home experience just almost as if you're sitting here, if not better. So that is in the works. We've been talking about it for a while, but I appreciate the mayor's office has been working well with us in the IT department And we're hoping to get that installed hopefully in the next month or two, depending on the contractor's calendar. So I have nothing else. Any other council members have anything they want to add? Okay, all right. Well, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion to adjourn by Councilman Kane, a second by Vice President Calgill. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Kane,
Aye.
Fordice,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Klein,
Yes.
Divine,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Cowgill,
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes, meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming, everybody.
I didn't go through that. It was a surprise. I was looking around, cleaning around. So it's not